Checking on my phone. Yay!
Yeah, there we
We're
go.
now live. Yes, amazing. All right. So, good morning, everyone. I know it's a Friday. I hope I did not confuse you. Yes, this is Real Talk with Jenny, our episode 6. Um, and we are very fortunate to have our special guest this morning. None other than Molly. Molly is a relationship expert, and she will talk about how to find. I couldn't say Mr. Right because maybe it's a man looking for Miss Right. So that's why I said in our title that how to attract the one. So I'm quite curious on how to find that out. And I guess you guys as well are very much anxious and interested on can you really find the right one? So without further ado, like to welcome Molly in the house.
Thank you so much. What a nice introduction.
Molly, how are you?
Yeah, I'm great. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good. You are in Bali. Is
I
that
am.
right?
I'm in Bali, so I'm the same time zone as you guys, which works out really nicely. So nice early Friday morning.
Yeah, that's perfect. So, Molly, I'm just quite, I believe our audience is quite curious as well to find out how did you figure out, you know, the formula on finding the one. Was it your past experience? How did you come to becoming a relationship expert?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I kind of stumbled into it like we do with these things, and definitely through experience. So just to give you kind of a bit of a background, so I was brought up in a very stable, loving home with my parents, and I've always been, I've had really great examples of love in my life. So I really knew what I wanted from a relationship from a young age. I knew about teamwork and about companionship and about how that other person should be there to lift you up and be the best version of yourself. So that was like instilled in me like as a value from a very young age from just witnessing like my parents and my family and how they are with one another. So I was in a relationship for 7 years, which was really beautiful. I had a really great experience from a very young age. And then we started traveling together and it just didn't work out. And he ended up flying home. And I was kind of left in this place of just being like confused, lost, heartbroken, devastated, all those things that you'd feel after coming out of a relationship with someone. And I found myself asking, like, am I ever going to love again? Like, am I ever going to feel this way? How, like, I thought this was my soulmate. Like, what do I do now? And then I had some time on my own and did some like self-discovery work and some self-healing, and started to build my relationship back up with love again and opening myself up to finding another relationship, which is what's brought me to the relationship that I'm in now. And through this current relationship I'm in, I was thinking about it and I was like, wow, I remember like having no guidance and having nobody to kind of turn to and talk to. And I was always the friend that all my friends would come to for boyfriend advice, relationship advice, love advice. And I even like helped my partner like open up his heart and find that space of love. And love has just always been something that I deeply connect to, I deeply resonate with. So I was like, look, there's so many women out there that are struggling to find somebody that deserves them, that can lift them up and help them be the best version of themselves. And now that I've experienced it and I can feel this, it's like I want to share that with the world. That whoever wants to feel that in a relationship can 100% feel it. It's just about starting with that inner work initially. So yeah, it's something that it's a value and something that's always been strong within me, but through personal experience, it's brought me to where I am today.
You did mention about your your ex-boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Was he your first boyfriend, or was it
Was that
your
my?
first relationship?
Oh, what's the question? Sorry.
Well, I mean, the person you spoke to when you lost confused, that you had a relationship for 7 years. So was that first boyfriend, second boyfriend, third boyfriend? Just quite
Like,
curious.
yeah, like first, like I'd say like real relationship. So I was in that relationship from 18, so 18 to 25. So yeah, like I'd say my first real love, my first real relationship. Everything before that was, very like, I wouldn't call it a real connection.
Was that love at first sight, something like that kind
Um,
of thing?
no, like the way I view love is, I think there can be a connection and there can be chemistry, but I don't necessarily believe in love at first sight. I think it grows and I think it comes over time, and I think that's where like a healthy relationship can build. Everyone always said to me with my previous relationship and the relationship I'm in now, like, oh my God, like you're so connected. Like, was it love at first sight? And it's like, no, it actually wasn't. Like, I had an interest, we had similar interests, and then it just grew from there. Like, I have a thing of, like not falling in love, like not feeling this uncontrol of like falling and lost, and because then it's like a downward spiral. As soon as you start to fall for somebody, you like lose control. Whereas if you can grow into love with somebody and connect with that person, then the relationship's constantly building and constantly growing.
Oh wow. So you're saying you don't really believe in love at first sight, something like that, and that love grows beyond.
Um, I don't know if I'd say I don't believe in it. I just, for me personally, like my experience of it has always been, it's a growth. Like love is all about growth, and I think that's the healthiest way. I know that like there can be a connection for sure, but I think to say love, like real love, it takes so much more than just like a look. You have to, there's depth in there, there's understanding, there's building something together. And I think that's really where love stems from. It's not just kind of like a, I saw him and I fell in love. It's like it grows over time.
Because today is different, the next day might be different, and you might discover a lot of things, differences between the two of you, right? And
Yeah, all the time. Yeah.
I'm just wondering. So you did mention that you've come from a family filled with love and all that. So it's all happy, and so you have a basic standard on how to be loved.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this because you were living in a family full of love, happy, just happy thoughts and that. Um, could someone um, who didn't actually who's not really brought up in that kind of environment end up with uh, end up with a happy relationship?
Yeah, that's a really good question. Absolutely, I believe so. And the reason for that is because love's not selective. Love doesn't say you can have it, but you can't, you can have it, you can't, you can't, you can. Like love is within us, like it's infinite, like we all have love. So I think that yes, it's possibly more challenging because what happens is it's like our sphere of reality. So it's like if our sphere of reality showing us negative connections, negative relationships, and that's all we're used to, then yes, we're more prone to maybe have doubt around love, and we're more likely to maybe attract that into our lives. However, if you genuinely believe in love, and what happens with some people is they see a relationship and they say, I absolutely do not want that for my life. I want something total opposite. So it can actually send them the other way and be like, I'm not putting up with that. Like, I deserve, and it always comes back to self and self-worth. Like, I deserve to be loved. I deserve to be in this relationship. I don't want this, so this is what I'm going to do. And all it is, like, as simple as it sounds, is just a decision. It's like, yeah, if you want to go down that path, then okay. But if you decide that actually, like, you want more for your life and you want to have that loving relationship, it's open to everyone. Like I say, it's infinite. We all have it within us. So everyone is capable. Absolutely.
Great, Molly. All right, at this time, I'd like to greet a few friends who join us. Hi, Atikat, Kate, um, AC, hello, Ariane, hello. All right, so I think we've come to the main point of our conversation. How do we attract the one? What are the guides? What are the steps?
Yeah. How do we do it? That's the great question. And there's lots of different steps, and it all depends on the person, to be honest, and where they're at. And this is really what I teach within my program. It's like, I don't have like a structure of you do this and you get to this. It's like, where are you at right now? Like, how can I help you? And like I say, the first thing it starts with is self. You know, once you start to tend to self and love self and find that self-worth, self-confidence, self-belief, then that's when you can start going, like, looking out and taking the awareness out. But first of all, we have to start with ourselves. And you know, everyone's the one is different. Everyone's like Mr. Right is different. The reason why I specifically help women attract Mr. Right and not just say like anyone is because that's where my like expertise lie. That's where my experience lies with men, like attracting men. So women are very different. You know, we work very differently. And as like a heterosexual woman, like, I don't know how to attract a female, so I wouldn't give that advice to somebody. So that's why I specifically say like Mr. Right, because it's like that's the understanding that I have.
So from what you said, from what I understood, it really starts from oneself. Is that right? So
Yeah.
is it also a mindset? Like, you have a particular um, picture in mind of who your Mr. Right is, and then you stick to it, and you meditate on it. So is it something like that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's many different ways and different techniques you can use and think about it. But like the way I kind of talk to my clients about it is like a relation, like, you know, as young girls, we're like pumped like with the media, and this is what a fairy tale looks like, and this is like the dream. And it's like, why does it have to be a dream? Like, why can't that be reality? Why can't I have like Prince Charming come and sweep me off my feet? And not in a way of being like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna wait for the prince. It's like, what does that actually mean? And it's like, well, it means that I want somebody that loves me. I want somebody that cares for me. I want somebody that protects me. I want somebody that makes me feel safe. I want to feel like I can co-create with this person. So it's like, instead of like, you know, the fairy tale that we get given, it's like, what is it within that fairy tale that we fall in love with? And it's actually the connection, it's the emotion, it's the feeling that brings in. Like, if even if you look at like Cinderella, the fact that the guy goes out of his way to pursue her, to find her, you know, it's like the chase. It's like that's what, as women, like we love. Like, we love like that attention, that man to chase us, to feel like we're desired. So it's like, the messages within these like fairy tales is ultimately then what like programs us, and we think of it as like unachievable because it's just a dream, but ultimately it's just a feeling. So what I talk to my clients about is like, let's get to the feeling that you want to feel in this relationship, and that's where we start. Instead of being like tall, dark, handsome, blue eyes, drives this car, has this job, does this, and it's like, that's great, you can do that, but you're really limiting your like selection. And ultimately, is that going to make you happy? And that's always what I come back to, like, is that going to actually fulfill you? And ultimately, it comes down to a feeling.
Okay, so even if we have like a particular character in mind, particular this and this, I want this guy to have this, to have that. You know, from what you said, we should not limit ourselves to what we think. But at least shouldn't we have like a standard of what we need?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is the thing. It's like you can have that image for sure. Like you can have it, but don't be surprised if it doesn't turn up in that space. You know, don't be surprised if
If
what
it
you're
turns out the opposite way.
yeah, don't be surprised if like you pictured brown hair and he has blue hair, blonde hair, you know? Like don't be like just be open to, okay, I'm not gonna be like so narrow-minded that it has to be like it has to come in this package. This is what I would like and this is what I visualize, but it doesn't have to be like that specific.
At this time around, I'd like to greet a few friends that came in. Hi Zen, hi MG, hi Jason. So if you guys have any question, please feel free to type it in so Molly can end.
Oh, I've lost you. I think you've frozen. I don't know if you can still see me or not. Hello, everyone, if you can still see me. If you can't, I'm just speaking to myself. Okay, it looks like Jenny's left the building. If you are there, then good morning. Hope you're all well. And yeah, if you have any questions, I'd love to hear them. We'll just wait for Jenny to get back online. Let's see what's going on. We'll just take a little look. I mean, it still says I'm live on Facebook. So if I'm still live on Facebook, then I apologize. I'm sure this is very boring for you because I can't see, so I can't respond to anything. But bear with us, we'll be back. I'm sure we'll be back. Oh yeah, I'm still here. Oh. Okay. Okay, so Caitlin, hello. Hey, do you believe that someone can come into your life, leave, and then come back? Oh yeah, I'm still here. Oh. I guess my question is, if you still love someone, should you just move on? Okay, so Caitlin, hello. Let me turn this down. Yeah, great question. Great question. I would question what you're holding on to still from this relationship. So why would they leave and then come back? Why would you allow them to leave and then come back? It all depends on what's happened within that relationship, but they've left for a reason. And you know, whatever that reason is, they've left. And if you're still holding on to that, then I would question the attachment there and whether, yeah, it's, to me, I would say that it's probably time to relook at it and look at moving on, because otherwise, how long are you going to wait for? How long are you going to wait for them to come back? And really, is that the best thing? Like, I think this is the thing that people struggle with. It's like there's so many amazing men out there, but because we're scared or we're fearful of like going out there again and meeting somebody new, it's easier to go back. So the mind will play tricks on us and it'll be like, oh, I'll just wait because it was pretty good and it's easy. But it's like, we don't want easy, we want the best. So always, yeah, think of that, like, is this the best option? And always think in abundance. There's so many amazing men out there that really deserve you, that won't leave you. So I hope that answers your question. Does anybody else have any questions while I'm here? Or Caitlin, do you need any more clarification? I've got my phone now so I can see if anyone's saying anything. Yeah, let me know, Caitlin, if that answered your question, or if you need any more clarification, I'd be happy to speak further. Okay, so you've tried to date other people and you found that it doesn't work out. So maybe this is because you're still holding on. Perhaps if you still find that you're holding on to somebody, then you don't fully go into dates like being open. You're still holding part of yourself back. So that might be one thing. A second thing is, depending on the type of relationship you had before, you might be attracting similar types of men into your life. And then that is the self-work that we were talking about. Like, why are the men that I'm attracting not actually suitable for me? What is it within me that I need to maybe address or look at? Or maybe I just need to be clearer on what it is I want and set some boundaries of, like, I will accept this and I won't accept that. So maybe like goalposts to set yourself. So yeah, that might be something else to look at as well. Yeah, so true. There's so many more out there, and so many more that deserve your time and your energy. So I think we kind of go into this place of being like, oh, where are all the men? Like, oh, like this is all I know. And I definitely felt that when I split up with my first partner. I was like, no one's going to understand me. No one's going to like feel this way towards me. I'm going to have to live alone. But it's so not at all. Oh, Jenny's back. I think Jenny's back. She's coming back. Jenny! I think you're still connecting. Okay, hello.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Hey,
Yeah, but I can. Caitlin came in. Jamar came in. Cassie, my daughter, is here. All right. So I guess you were answering question.
yeah, I just finished Caitlin's question. So I think, yeah, Caitlin, just let me know if that clarified for you everything you wanted to know. But I think that's all I've got.
Right. So, guys, if you have any questions, please feel free to type it in so that Molly can basically answer it.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, from what we're talking about, I do believe everything starts from oneself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
My question is, you know, sometimes ladies, when they think that they found the right person, or if they get into a relationship, twist their preference to please the other person.
So what's sorry?
Yeah. Like for example, let's put, yeah, or a lady basically just wants, let's talk about food, okay? So she likes chicken. And the guy wants beef. But suddenly, even though they're in a restaurant, that's what she wants. She is somehow shifting shifting preference into the guy's preference.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Asking whether
just yeah. So just in order for the guy to feel like, oh, they're very compatible, and that, oh, she likes what I like. So something like that. But I just put it in a basis of food. But yeah, like in general. So sometimes I do believe people tend to do the things, change their preference in order to please the other person. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, it's never going to work if you're changing who you are to fit the mold of somebody else, because ultimately, like, that's not a stable foundation. You're basically not being true to yourself. So if, for instance, like, I'm a vegan, let's just keep with the food analogy. Like, I'm a vegan. Say I go out for food and I meet somebody and we're on a date and he eats meat, and then I'm like, oh, I should eat meat because then he'll like me more. Then I'm not being true to me, and then his interest in me isn't truthful. So I would always say at some point, like, if you just be truthful from the start, be like completely you, because ultimately that's where the best relationships build from, because otherwise you're constantly trying to keep up and being like, oh, did I say that right, did I do this right? And ultimately, like, we want to be accepted for who we are 100%. So this is like a really big thing for me personally, what I did, like, before attracting like the two men that I've been with, was like I didn't wear makeup, I didn't like I didn't do my hair, I didn't like, and I'm not, this is not advice for anyone, this was just for me personally. But I really wanted them to see me like in my authentic state, because most of the time I don't wear makeup, most of the time I don't wear like really nice clothes, like, because I'm just like around the house. So it's like, I need you to be able to see me fully and fully accept me and love me for me, instead of this false kind of exterior that I put on. Now, it's nice, and if it makes us feel better to like maybe put a bit of makeup on and do our hair, then I'm not saying that that's wrong to do at all. I'm just saying, like, this is where this inner work comes in, and that's why it's so important, because it's like, what do you accept and what don't you accept? Like, what are your values? What are your morals? What is it that you want in a man? And ultimately, if it's the right man, he'll fully accept you for being you, and he'll want you to be you. He'll want you to have a voice. He'll want you to have different interests. And, you learn from each other. There's always compromise, as a relationship builds, you're not going to be identical. Like, you're not. And sometimes you do sit back and let the other person like have their thing, and then you have your thing, and it's constantly kind of like this. So there's definitely compromise, but I'd say in the early dating phases, be you 100%, because otherwise, what are you attracting? It's not real. It's you're having to be something you're not. So yeah, I'd say like just stick with what you want to do ultimately.
But what can you say? And I think some people may have experienced this, that for a long time they've been boyfriend girlfriends. Things are working out well. They think that they are in for each other. But sometimes towards when they uh, go down and settle down, things just suddenly change. The person becomes a different person.
Yeah,
So yeah, then in that case, how do we really find out the right person? Because in the beginning we thought that's the right person already, because you think that you have understanding between each other, but suddenly when you settle down, things just change.
mm. I think this is a really interesting one, because like, you are going to change, because you're no longer living on your own. Like, you're no longer just you as one person. Like, you think about the other person, you take into consideration their thoughts and their opinions, and this is why it's so important when you choose this person that you're going to like spend your life with, that you do the groundwork before, because ultimately, like you say, you will get influenced, you will change, and you'll change together, and you will become different people. But as long as you're heading in the same direction, that's not a negative. Where it becomes a problem is if it's going against what you believe in, going against your values, and then you start to see the changes and you feel this like, oh, this doesn't feel right. for me personally, I've changed massively since being in my relationship. I'm more confident. I think about myself more. I appreciate myself more. I see myself worth more because he brings that up and out of me. I put myself out there a little bit more. I'm naturally like more introverted, and he encourages me to step out of myself. I've changed with my habits. So like he's introduced me more to different types of meditation and floating and these things that like I'd only like heard of and like slightly practiced and was interested in, but he's helped me like grow in that area. So for me, it's like, yes, I've changed, but in a way that I wanted to change, like in a way that I wanted to grow, and it's actually made me like a bigger and better person because of it. So like I say, this is why like when you meet someone, that's the crucial stage, because it's like, yes, they're bound to you. If you're spending like all your time with them, it's like if you hang out with your friends, like you start to pick up on similar habits and similar routines. And it's like, for me personally, like being with somebody who sits in front of a TV and eats like rubbish food and doesn't exercise, like, and doesn't want to be outside and wants to be on the computer, then that's like not something that I'm interested in. But somebody that wants to like meditate, do yoga, go outside and adventure and eat healthy food, then that's what I'm drawn to. So I'm like, yes, let's do more of this. Let's go in this path. So it's again, it's just about in those early phases really determining what it is you want, looking at their behaviors and their habits and being like, do I want to go down that route? Is that the route I see myself going down? Or actually, would I prefer to go down this route? And if this route is on my own for now, then that's better than being with somebody that's taken me off my path. But again, ultimately always coming back to self.
Great, great. So basically, the basic thing is you have to have the same interest at least. Although I'm not saying that's for everyone,
What was that?
because
Sorry.
I know there are, yeah. So what I said is that it's also important for both people to have the same interests. Although I'm not saying that it applies to all, because I do believe there are also other people um, who just get well together, even though they have very different interests or hobbies, right?
I agree. I think what it comes down to, I mean, like my partner's a big surfer, so he loves surfing. I've never surfed in my life. Like never surfed, and he like lives for surfing. You know, like I come from an acting background. I love going to the theater. Like he doesn't like going to the theater. But ultimately our morals, like our values and our vision, like where we want to go is the same. And I think that's the most important thing. And like it encourages me. I'm like, maybe I want to try surfing. Like, why not? Like, and he's like, maybe I want to try, you know. So it's not about, you don't have to be the same at all, because that's where like you learn and that's where you discover. And it you know, like some people say like opposites attract and all that kind of thing. But ultimately what it comes down to is like, where is it you're going? Like, what is the vision? And does it align? Like, are we both going in the same direction? And that's ultimately where that compromise and that love can build.
Great, great. So at this time, let's greet a few friends who just joined us. Hi, Annette. Hi, Artie. Butch. Hello. Tina. Hello. So if you guys have any questions, just please feel free to type it in so Molly can answer it for us. All right. So from what you said, I do understand that it is important basically to know what you want. Know what you want in a sense that not only the picture of or the vision of the person you want to be with in your life, but basically how you want yourself to be treated, your principles, your values, and all that. And if all these things uh, are still complete by the time you meet the other person, and it leads you towards the same pathway as what you were taught to be, um, that could be a good sign. Is that right? That he's the one.
And I think as well, it's like as women, we like get really attached. So we like have this like one date, and then it's like, oh, like he was interested in me, and oh, like I think he's the one, and we get all excited, and then we don't hear from him, and then we're like, oh, I hate him, like, oh, he's such a this and this. And it's like, how can we, I was just saying to Caitlin there, like, how can we live in a world of abundance? Like, there's not just one man in the world, you know, like there's a lot of men in the world, all over the world. So like, just because, you know, you're speaking to one man in that moment, like there's so many more out there. And once we start to realize that as women, then we can start becoming less attached to just like one interaction or one person. And it's this thing again that we get programmed to, like, oh, our eyes met across like the cafe, or like it was love at first sight. And it's like, that's beautiful, it does happen to people, it really does, I'm sure. But like for me, it's like, let's be realistic with the world that we're living in, and let's, you know, let's know that there's other options out there, because we can't limit ourselves. And men and women work very differently, and this is like a huge part of the course that I teach, like men's psychology, their biology, what goes on for a man, like how they think, how they react. The more that we can understand how a man operates, because I think as women, we really don't know. We think we know, and we get together and we say like, oh, he's doing this or he's thinking this. But who's asking the man? Like, who actually says like, is that what you're feeling? So this is the work that I've done, and like really deeply gone into like speaking to my partner, researching the male mind, so that once we can start to understand that, we're like, oh, he's just doing that thing. Oh yeah, he's just doing that. Oh, that's just him doing that. Instead of being like, why, what's going on? Like, you're disrespecting me. So yeah, I think having a good understanding of a man, and how he operates, especially like through dating, like gives you a big step into finding the right person.
Right. Now that you brought that up, that you know, a man and a woman, their cycle is different from each other. Um, how does a man feel when the woman thinks that he is the one?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on the man, and it depends about the stage in which it's at. But
Yeah.
ultimately, the man wants to pursue, and the man wants to make the decision. If the woman is there saying, you're for me, you're the one, it's you, like it's me and you together, for a man, that's like, whoa, like I do not want to be told, first of all, like I want to discover for myself. And the fact that you're telling me actually makes me want to run away. Because what happens is, especially in this day and age, like it's like men are feeling more and more like they're being used as like a husband, or as a, you know, as a dad. Like, I need a man because I need a husband, or I need a man because I want a family. And a man's like, whoa, hang on a minute, like I want to still be able to make the decisions. And this is, it goes back to like tribal times, you know, like a man is there to provide, a man is there to chase, he's there to lead. It's within his biology to chase you and to make decisions. If you as a woman start making those decisions for him, you almost become like a mom, or you become, you know, like naggy, and the guy's just like, don't want to deal with that, because it's not natural for him. He has to come to that himself. And as women, we just like coax. So we just sit in our feminine energy, and we sit back. And this is a big one, like feminine and masculine energy. What's happening there is that the woman is going into her masculine energy, because she's saying, you're the one, you're for me, this is amazing, this is going to work. And he's going, whoa, I haven't agreed to that. Like, hang on a minute. Like, I need to process this for myself. I chase you. That's how it works. Let me chase you. So for a woman, it's about sitting back, like taking a step back and letting that come in.
Oh, great. So, ladies, you heard that right. Let them chase you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Guys, once again, if you have any questions, just feel free to type it in so Molly can um, reply back and answer those questions. All right. So, Molly, what are your like in like 3 points, key points? What can you advise for women who are, you know, they feel like, oh, I'm in my late 30s, or I'm in my 40s already. I really, really, really need to find the one. So what's your advice?
Yeah, I mean, it comes from this place of like really, really need it. Like, So when you really, really need it, like think of the energy in that. It's like, oh, I need it. Oh, like it has to happen. Oh my God, like come on, come on. And what you're doing is you're trying to force it to happen. And if you think about it, like if you try and force anything, like what's the result of that? Like, is it generally good? Like if you're forcing on something, if you're smacking on something, if you're putting all this energy and it comes from this place of, but I need it, like desperation. This is where we see women settling. This is where we see women lowering their standards. This is where we see women just going, well, I just need it. Like I have to. Society says that I need to. So for me, it's like definitely even more so at this stage, you step back. It's like, okay. And when I say step back, I don't mean like sit back, like put the TV on and be like, Mr. Charming's gonna knock at my door, you know? It's like still putting yourself on these platforms, still making yourself seen, but allowing it to come into you. If you really want it, then you need to like with it. Because if you do this with it and become really narrow with the energy, then it just becomes too forced. So it's like, how can we bring in ease? Oh, like I'm so looking forward to like spending my days with like just live that life. Oh, it's going to be so nice to like wake up next to like my perfect man, or it's going to be so nice when I wake up next to my husband every morning, or oh, my wedding day is going to be so nice. Like when it like, and this is the thing, it's a belief thing. Really having to believe that this can happen to you, because if there's doubt there, then that counteracts the belief. So if you're like, I want it, but I don't think it's going to happen, then it's not going to happen, because it's like it's counteracting it. So a big thing I say, because I work with a lot of women like over 30s and some that have divorced, have children, and it's like, I just don't know if I can find it again. And it's like, okay, so this is a belief thing. We have to work on the belief. Remember, like love is for everyone. Like it's not selective, and it doesn't say you get it at this age and you get it at this age. It can come at any stage and at any age. We have to just open ourselves up and allow it to happen instead of forcing. You can't force love, you know? Like this is where we see this thing of like, with women especially, what we do is like, I want to be in a relationship with you. I want this to happen. And the guy goes, whoa. Whereas if you just sit back and allow it to just grow organically, naturally, and just know that, you know, it's all going to be all right, like it's all going to work out, then that's when the beauty and it can just start coming in towards you. So I would really pick up on this point of like needing it. When you need something, it's like, okay, what energy is that in? I want it, but I don't need it.
Great. So, ladies, you heard it right. So it's really a work in progress, isn't it? It's not like, okay, Mr. Right will just knock at my door. So I heard you say that you should make yourselves. Um, yeah, I mean, you have to expose yourself. You have to put in the platform where you may be able to find the one, right? But not really push it in a way that you actually need it, and you narrow in your energy that this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. So just take it gradually, easy. It will come. And yeah, just make yourselves available. What are your thoughts on women going into dating sites?
Yeah,
They feel they couldn't find their perfect match in the physical world. I mean, when they go just literally outside, so they have to go online, go on to dating sites to find their perfect match or the one. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, this is the way the world is going now, right? Like everyone's moving online, and the online is great because there's a whole pool of people being online. And right now, it's even better because think about all the quality men, the businessmen that wouldn't normally go on these like apps, but are forced to go on them because they can't see people in real life. So like, there's actually more people on it right now. The challenge with online dating is obviously all the things that we already know about, and like the trust issues and the like going off like just an image and then getting to know that person. There's many different steps that you can take in order to, you know, eradicate those type of men out of like your search, like your filter. Just like self things, like setting yourself like boundaries, like I don't want to be with somebody that smokes, or I don't want to be with somebody that has children, or you know, whatever your like hard no's are, you can start to filter. But I think a big one is like, I think we're almost like told now that we can't meet somebody organically. Like it's almost like the place to meet somebody is online because everyone's busy and no one speaks to anyone anymore, and the virus and all of this. And it's like, I don't know, I think it's a really tricky ground, because for me, I've not used dating apps. I've organically met people, but I put myself in that space of just being open. So if I'm walking to the supermarket, then like instead of being like in my phone and like this, like I don't want anyone to speak to me or approach me, or if you speak to me then you're strange, like actually let me just take in my environment. If there's a good looking guy, let me catch eye contact with him. It kind of signals that I'm interested, and then he can come and approach me, you know. So how can we in everyday life, well, and people are like, well, I only go to the gym, or I only go to the supermarket. How many other people are in that supermarket? How many other people are walking down the street? How many other people are at the gym? By telling yourself that you're not going to find them in the outside world really narrows down that choice. So what I'd say is like, how can we be more open when we're out in public? And it's not about flaunting ourselves or wearing anything. It's just about our energy. Like, how can we be more welcoming? How can we be like, okay, maybe I will meet him out here today. Like, and I think that's a big one, that we've been kind of like conditioned into thinking that we can't meet him, or we can't meet the one out and about. And yes, it's more tricky, but it's not impossible. Like there's just a few little things that we can do just to start bringing that attention, especially as women, that we can do to start bringing the men to us, and having those physical interactions.
Great. All right, let's greet a few friends that came in. Kuya Mario, Angelo, hello. Lisa, hello. All right, so Charlie, hello. So we're talking about here on how to find or how to attract the one. So you did mention that some of the hindrances, or something like that, when you go online, is that some people have a good picture, and in real life it's not them, right? So since we've mentioned about online sites like this, perhaps you can also give us some advice on how do we figure out that that's the right, I mean that's the same person in the picture or something like that, or to avoid scam and all that. I know there are also scam on online dating sites, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a really challenging one. It's a field that is still very new. It's still very, online dating is still a very new thing, really. And especially with the different apps that we have now, there's so that you can be on 7 different platforms at one time. So that just really opens up all of these humans. What I would say is, you're messaging and you're texting. So why can't we do this? Like, especially in COVID times, why can't we get on a video chat with each other? Like, let me see you. Let me see that you're the real person before I'm committed to actually meeting up with you. You know, in that moment when you see them on your phone, it almost gives you that indication of okay, yeah, he looks like his picture. He's saying the right things. We're now communicating. As soon as you can bring it into a conversation, you'll start understanding the person more. Over text, it's extremely difficult to know what a person is like, to really get a feel for a person. So to go from a text to meeting up, it can be a bit of a shock. So I would say have a few messages. If it's going well, after 5 or 6 messages, just say, let's have a phone call. See how the phone call goes. Okay, great speaking to you. Let's have a video chat. Okay, had a video chat, all looking good still. And as you're going through, all these things will start to come up. And then this is a big one. It's is that person now worth your time? And not dismissing these red flags. So some women are yeah, well, he said that, but I still met up with him anyway. And it's but why? Why are you wasting your time? And it's this abundance mindset Okay, he's not the one. Okay, next. Like literally in that energy, next. But as women, we get too attached and we're like, oh, but spent an hour on the phone to him and we've been messaging for a week and he seems to really like me. Yeah, but you've said that he does this, 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 and this, and now your hard nose. So why are you still talking to him? Move on, next, get on to the next, you know, like you are more valuable than that. You are worth more than that. So it, again, just comes back to you and your boundaries. But yeah, I'd absolutely say get on a phone call. Like you can't hide much once you start speaking to somebody, and then on a video call even more so you'll really start to get to know that person.
Yeah, I think that, yeah, you are right. I think that's the difficulty on women, that the difficulty to detach on
Yeah.
that certain feeling and just go and just accept that, you know, it's not working.
Yeah.
We always tend to look back and see the things that the other person could have said or done, and just clinging on to that memory even though it's not there anymore.
Yeah, we get really like detail orientated as women. We analyze and analyze and analyze, and we look back. I should have said that. Like that does not happen for a man. That does not happen. He does not care. He turns up. He's like, if it works out, it does. If it doesn't, next. And this is the kind of energy that we as women, so that we're not hurt as much, and so that we're not getting as exposed to these emotions and feelings of hurt. Is like we need to go in like with intent, but detached from our outcome. So like whatever the outcome is, like that's just how it is. Like detachment.
Great. All right. So let's greet a few friends. Hi, Joey. Hi, Ate Celia. Hello po. Um, do you have any friends who met their the one online and have become successful in their relationship?
Question. Let me think. Yes, I do. One of my friends, again, it wasn't through a dating app actually, it was through Facebook. And this is another big thing. Like people forget about social media. Like look at how you're presenting yourself online on social media. Look at the options that are out there. Look at your network. Look who's in your network already. Like there might be some guy out there that's like perfect for you, that's already in your network, and you're not seeing Facebook or Instagram as like a dating thing. And that is another really good place to look. I mean, yeah, my friend met her now husband on Facebook. They've been together for 9 years. 9 years, yes, 9 years, married for 2 years. So this is the thing, it can come in like different ways. When I was doing my market research, because this was a huge one for me, because I've not really experienced online dating, and I was like, what are the benefits of it? Like, talk to me, women. Like, I spoke to so many women about online dating, and there's such a resistance to it because of this, because of people being like, I don't want to meet my husband like online, like. And it's like, look, we need to get past this. This is not a shameful thing. This is just how the times are. Like, this is just how it is now. And I got speaking to a woman who like marries people, like a vicar. She wasn't a vicar, but like I don't know the name, where you marry somebody. And she said that 90% of the people she marries have met online through online dating. And she marries like 5 people a week, and 90% of them have met online, which was like huge eye opener for me. I was like, wow. And she was like, yeah, like all of my friends have like met. So it's happening out there, it's definitely, and it's not something, I think that's the thing, we need to remove the shame of it. We need to remove the thing that like, oh, meeting online's bad. It's like, but we do everything else online. We shop online, we communicate online, we hold meetings online. Why can't we meet another person online? Like, I think we just need to, be realistic with, that's maybe where you'll meet him. Why not?
Yeah, times change, and all of us are going towards online. So yeah, why not also meet the one online? We'll never know.
Absolutely.
All right. Yes. Ati Ason, yeah, I saw someone just came in. So if you guys have any question, please feel free to type it in while I still have Molly. All right. So I think we've talked talked about many things. Hope our audience uh, have learned a lot this morning. I know a lot are anxious and really finding the one, and we'll never know when that one person will come into our lives. And from what we've talked about this morning, so what really matters still is you, right? How you value yourself, how you were taught that you should be treated. I think it's most important for us, and not change that for another person that we thought is the one, because basically it's a mutual understanding that both people should accept each other, um, by who they are. I mean, regardless of they don't have makeup on, how the way they dress up each day and things like that. What matters is their reality, um, being better, I guess. And yeah, it's not a fairy tale anymore that the right person will just knock at your door and you'll just be swept away, and you will live happy ever after. It's no longer that way. So for those women who are looking and waiting for the one, it's a work in progress, as what Molly said. um you cannot say that you are looking for the one when you are just inside the house. So, as she said, you need to expose yourself, make yourself be seen. Right? Is there anything else I missed, Molly?
I think you summed it up really well. I think just kind of the three key points I'd say. But for women watching this and at this stage, like we said, like always start with self. Always the most important place to start. Not putting a time frame on it, like I have to be at this certain point in my life, like, so not adhering to social pressure or peer pressure, and like just not putting a time on it. And then the big one is that belief, just knowing that it's going to happen to you at some point and that you deserve it. So I'd say that they're like the three key main points I think we discussed today that I think would be worth taking away for those watching.
Great. That's so wonderful. All right. So, hi, Lani. Lani just came in. So, guys, do you have any other questions? Yeah, if you do, just keep it in before Molly leaves the room. If she has everything.
And as well, if people
Um,
then they can just tag me, just get them to tag me in it, that's fine. If people are watching this not live, I can see the comments afterwards.
Great. So, guys, if you have any other questions, just type it in. Molly will be able to see it later on, even on the replay, and you can see her Facebook uh, page. Yeah, from this live. Is it all right, Molly? If they can just chat, they can just send you a message if they have questions. I mean, after this.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine.
And you guys can get in touch with Molly. She is a relationship coach. Yeah. So as she said, and her forte is love. Yeah, and attracting the right guy, attracting Mr. Right. Yeah. So I do have a lot of friends who are still waiting for they're the one. So hopefully this will be helpful, yeah, for them. And some sometimes when you grow older and people start asking you, when are you getting married? When are you getting married? Have a boyfriend. It gets into um the person will feel, oh yeah, I mean, when will I find the right one? They get really frustrated and just you know um feel sad about it. But yeah, as what Molly said, it's not the end of the world. I do believe in perfect timing, that it just comes when it comes. But as you said, it's a work in progress. You need to show yourself there that you are looking as well, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, Molly. It was a great, interesting topic that we discussed this morning. Um, I hope that our audience learned a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Thank you everyone for watching and tuning in.
All right. So with that, we'll end this Real Talk episode 6. And I hope to see you again soon. Hopefully, I'll do it again on a Sunday. Otherwise, it's gonna be a weekday. Lately, I've been having trouble with my internet connection, but hopefully, it gets sorted out. Our tentative topic for the next episodes are beauty regimen and homeschooling. So we'll see which one comes first. All right. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much, Molly.
Thank you everyone. Thank you so much.